Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be another tier list video, and as you can see by the screen right now, we're going to be doing the various designs of Dr. Neo Cortex. So right off the bat, whoever made this tier list, they have them all mixed up, so I'm going to try and do it as best chronologically as I can. So we've got, this is the first Cortex. And this is the opening to Crash 2. This is Crash 3 and most of Crash Team Racing as far as I could recall. This is Crash 4. So then we've got Wrath of Cortex, Twinsanity, and then I will go Nitro Kart. Actually, we'll put this one over here. This is Insane Trilogy, so he goes there. And then, oh, I should have put Bash way over here. So Bash goes there. Wrath of Cortex, Twinsanity, Nitro Fueled. And then this is Tag Team Racing. And this is Boom Bang, which makes this one the Radical Games. This one is from Thumpin' Wumpa Island, and this one is from Crash on the Run. So, for the most part, this has all of the Cortex designs except for like the handheld games. But for the majority, the handheld games were just like low quality Wrath of Cortex designs. So the only thing really missing is the in-cart model from Crash Team Racing, but we'll just go past that. So now that we've got them all sorted out, let me start putting them in the tier list. So the original Dr. Cortex from Crash Bandicoot 1. Can't help but dislike him. I know it's not fair to judge him because it's his first appearance, but him with that one eye always shut, and it being like very low quality because the games were 3D and they were just starting to do 3D games, I'll probably give him a mid-tier, so he'll be a B. And I know it doesn't have anything to do with his design per se, but his voice acting, I didn't like the Cortex in Crash Bandicoot 1 like nearly as much as all the other voice actors that we get. Clancy Brown and Lex Lang, wonderful. I think is Brian O something. Brendan O'Brien. Yeah, I didn't like his Cortex. So then we go to Crash Bandicoot 2. Crash Bandicoot 2 and Crash Bandicoot 3 are really close. They just polished him a little better on Crash 3. But I really liked Crash Bandicoot 2's Cortex. So we'll put him up here too, because they're pretty much the same to me. This one's just a little more polished. Then we have the Insane Trilogy Cortex. Insane Trilogy is a more polished version of Crash 2 and Crash 3. So this is going to be our first S rank. So now we've got an S rank, 2 A's, and a B. And then we'll move on to Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time. I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for this, but I'm not wild about this design of him. More so, when Crash goes back in time, spoiler warning, if you don't want to be spoiled for Crash 4, please click off this video now. But in Crash 4, It's About Time, Crash goes back in time to the events of the Insane Trilogy. So you'd think Cortex would look like this because we're going back to that time frame, but he looks like this still. So that's just a little nitpick on continuity. But I'm going to have to put him in B tier with the original Cortex. I don't know why exactly. I can't get on board with this one. Maybe he's not as angular as before. He's more rounded. I don't know. He just feels a little off to me. And then we're going to move on to Bash. Bash Cortex looks like the original Cortex, but with less expressions. He, like most of the Bash characters, they just look a little off. So he's going to be our first C tier. Then we move on to the Wrath of Cortex. The Wrath of Cortex, all of their models are hideous. And I just remember in the opening cutscene when Cortex is laughing and he has all those teeth, and it's just so off-putting, and I hate it so much. Wrath of Cortex had really terrible design, so that's going to be the first D tier. So yeah, can you believe it? Bash beat out a Wrath of Cortex. Then we have Twinsanity. Twinsanity, without gushing too much because I know everyone faps to Twinsanity, Twinsanity has a really good Cortex design, and he's very expressive, and I think he deserves to go up onto A tier. Then we have Nitro-Fueled. Nitro-Fueled Cortex doesn't look like Cortex to me. He just looks like an off-brand model of Cortex, so he's going to go in C tier. Then we have Crash Tag Team Racing. This one also gets an S rank for me. He looks like the original Cortex. Well, not the original because this is the original, but I mean like how these ones are a more polished version of this, and then this is a remaster of these ones. That's what Tag Team Racing felt like to me. It felt like they were bringing this design of Cortex into modern day, which is now years and years later. But I like this one a lot. I'm giving him an S. Then we move on to Boom Bang Cortex. He is trash, and I don't think I need to explain why. His skin color's off. Just like how I said the Wrath of Cortex's character designs were all just like off-putting, so was Boom Bang. Like, they tried to go Looney Tunes style with it, but it fell way flat. Then we have the Radical Cortex from Crash of the Titans and Crash Mind Over Mutant. They kind of changed his hair to give it more of a purple hue, and his head got longer, so it's more like the Crash Bandicoot 4 version of of Cortex. So, with that being said, I'll probably pop him down. They look very similar, don't they? The only difference being the eyebrows are much bigger, and he's got the purple hue to his hair, or blue hue, whatever you want to call that. Then we're going to move down to the Thumpin' Wumpa Island Cortex. Thumpin' Wumpa Island Cortex looks so... I keep saying off, and I know that's not a good description. Just keep saying they all look off. But he looks like someone never saw Cortex and was just given like a list of things that they had to do. Because like his beard looks way too bushy and his head's all mushed together. He feels like he deserves a C tier. So now that brings us to the final Cortex design. We've got 2 S's, 3 A's, 3 B's, 3 C's, and a D. I think he's fine. His hair looks a little weird, but for the most part, I think he deserves to go in the B tier. So I didn't mean for this to have symmetry to it. It just ended up working out that way. So of the top 2, I think I'd have to give Tag Team Racing my favorite Cortex. And of the bottom 2, I can't even decide which one I dislike more because they're both just so gross to me. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you disagree with my tier list, let me know in the comment section. how you would rank them, which one is your favorite and which one is your least favorite. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time. Have a good night.